I'm going to the studio, but I'm not going alone. I'll be joined by the other members of the carpool. We all work in the same area, so one of us takes the car and the others take a ride. Carpooling benefits all of us. It makes driving less stressful, saves fuel, and as a bonus, also saves the environment from vehicular pollution. It's a mutually beneficial relationship for all of us, you see. Like in the world of chemistry. Did you figure out the connection? Meet me in the studio and I'll tell you the answer to this. Welcome to today's show. Thanks to the carpool, I save fuel, reach on time and enjoy my journey to the studio every day. And since I believe in such efficient utilization of resources, let's not delay our learning any further. Today we will look at how a covalent bond is formed and learn about the various kinds of covalent bonds, which are single, double and triple covalent bonds. We will also study polar and non-polar covalent bonds and look at the properties of covalent compounds. And then in Exam Decoded, you will get all the tips that you need to get those top scores. So, we are all set to roll. But do you know why an atom has the urge to form a bond? What ensures that an atom forms a bond? Before I answer that, let me tell you something. Have you observed a waterfall? Why does water always fall downwards? Have you observed a stone rolling downhill? Why doesn't it go uphill? The urge for stability causes the stone to go downhill. At a higher altitude, the stone has higher energy. At the foothill, it has the least energy. Therefore, every system has a tendency to lose its energy and acquire a state of least or minimum energy. So, let's come back to how a chemical bond is formed. The basic idea is the same as that of a stone rolling downhill. The lowering of energy leads to higher stability. As you are aware, there are two types of chemical bonds called ionic and covalent bonds. An ionic bond is formed as a result of transfer of electrons. On the other hand, a covalent bond is formed as a result of sharing of electrons between two or more atoms. Now, let's see what is meant by covalent bonding and what is a single, double and triple covalent bond. As I have told you, a covalent bond is formed by sharing of electrons. But why does the sharing happen in the first place? For this, you must recall the octet rule. It states that all atoms have a natural tendency to complete their octets. So, when a reaction takes place, the atom would either share or gain or lose electrons depending upon whichever is the most convenient path. For example, non-metals can either gain an electron in the presence of a metal or share an electron in case of a reaction with non-metals. Covalent bonding as opposed to ionic bonding occurs due to a sharing of electrons instead of the transfer of electrons. Let's start with the first element in the periodic table, hydrogen, which has a strong tendency to form covalent bonds. Hydrogen in the molecular stage exists as H2 molecule. Atomic hydrogen contains one electron and for the valence shell to be filled up completely, it needs another electron and completes its duplet configuration. Since the atoms are equally matched, they share electrons and form the hydrogen molecule. Covalent bonding also extends to molecules formed as a result of the combination between different atoms. Since we have been talking about hydrogen, let's talk about a compound of hydrogen itself. Hydrogen should ideally combine with another element which needs one electron to complete its octet. For example, there is chlorine. which has 17 electrons and needs 1 to complete its octet. This combination enables both hydrogen and chlorine to attain the noble gas configurations of helium and neon respectively. In other words, the combination of hydrogen and chlorine is mutually beneficial, just like my carpool is for me and all my friends. While individually we might have struggled with fuel costs and the quality of the journey, as a group we are in a far stabler and profitable arrangement, just like in covalent bonding. Now, have you ever played noughts and crosses? I'm sure you have. It is one of the most simple games that one can play. But have you heard of dots and crosses? No, it is not another game. It is how Lewis structures are represented. Let's go back to the example of hydrochloric acid. The electron for the hydrogen atom is represented by a dot, while the electron for the chlorine atom is represented by a cross. But all the dots and crosses in a Lewis structure do not always add up to a complete octet. Take the example of an ammonia molecule. If one hydrogen atom shares its electron, nitrogen has 6 electrons in the valence shell. That is why 2 more hydrogen atoms arrive and the octet is completed for the central nitrogen atom. In a covalent bond, both participating atoms contribute an electron each to the atom and each shared pair is represented by a straight line. This representation of molecules using dots and crosses is named in honor of Gilbert Lewis, who was the first to describe the formation of a covalent bond. It's time now for a break, but before that I have a question for you. Though hydrogen only forms a single bond in a hydrogen molecule, it forms 3 covalent bonds with nitrogen in ammonia. Can you tell me why? This will be a good bit of exercise for your great health. See you on the other side of the break with the answer.